All right, we'll call to order the joint meeting of the Gonzales City Council and Gonzales Successor Agency. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And as we get going this evening, just a reminder for the council and staff, please speak right into the microphone so we can make sure and pick up all conversation on Zoom and for recording purposes. Thank you. And with that, let's go to roll call.
Mayor Pro Tem Scott Bunk,
Present.
Councilmember Liz Silva,
Present.
Councilmember Lorraine Worthy,
Present.
Councilmember Maria Orozco,
Present.
and Mayor Jose Rios excused absence.
Great, thank you, Mary. And we'll do the normal. All those who have cell phones, pagers, or likes, please set them to the silent mode or turn them off. Of course, this does not apply to on-duty emergency response personnel. If you wish to address the council and committee, you must stand and be recognized at the podium, give your name and address. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes and 1 appearance per subject. And with that, we will move to public comment. Any business from the public not on the agenda? Any member of the public may speak up to 3 minutes.
Now, yes.
Now,
Wow. I expected to wait through the whole. Whoa.
no presentations today, so right to it.
Ivan Olson, 48 C Street, ran against Maria, ran against the good mayor. So been around a while and love my town. I've been in love with the old Swiss building down on Alta Street. The moment I got to Gonzales, you know, a guy loves his car, a woman loves her dresser, you know, something. So people, you know, it's you feel strongly towards something. But this old Swiss, does everybody know what building we're talking about? Yeah, take part of my 2 minutes away.
Is it the gingerbread house by Braga Farms? Yeah.
We got you.
Go short here. According to the city's own doc, if I shake a loop, don't bother. I'm old guy nervous. A 21 dated 21 November document, the phase 1 environmental. This building is approximately since 1933 or 90 years old. So it clearly has age and very, very, very possibly historical value to the people center. It's older than the city. So to cut it short, in consulting with the, thanks to Maria, thanks to Tavin for helping me have the knowledge to be here, to be able to talk about what I've been in love with. It just recently realized it was going to be destroyed for theoretically good purpose to build senior housing. Don't pay any attention to my shaking. In talking to the Alliance for Monterey Area Preservation, they've suggested that I asked the city of Gonzales, would they please do, in reference in California state law, it's the California Environmental Quality Act. Under that is the Historical American Buildings Survey, which, as far as I know, hasn't been done for this building. And also in regards to DPR-523 form. In other words, what we would like is that the city take a look at the historical value and document the historical value. Also, we would like, in order to save the building, possibly think about selling it for $1. The buyer picks it up, hauls it away. Yes, very expensive. And the city would thereby avoid the cost of the demolition. Any questions on what I'm asking the city of Gonzales to do? Thank you very much for your time. You guys know how to reach me, 48 C Street. And this is, I didn't expect to be first, but I'm very, very, very thankful you listening to me, and thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Olson. Any other member of the public wish to address the council on items not on the agenda? Seeing none in chambers, do we have anyone on Zoom?
No,
Thank you. And was there any comment via email?
no comments via email.
Great, thank you. And with that, we'll close public comment and we'll go ahead and move to consent agenda. Any member of the council or public wish to pull an item from consent?
Nope.
All right, seeing none, I'll move to look for an action.
Move to approve items on the consent 6 through 15. Second.
And clarification, that's 3 through 5.
No, it's actually 3 through. Did I just do?
3 through 5.
3 through 5, correct? Oh. Geez. That's fine.
And Councilmember Orozco with you.
Yes.
Okay.
3
And,
through 5.
all right, perfect, thank you. And
I'll
with that,
second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed or abstain? And seeing none. All right. Consent is approved. And with that, we'll move on to regular agenda. Item number 6. This is the follow-up report on the community center complex project. Staff report, please.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem Funk, council members. As you are aware, this is a follow-up report to the presentation on the community center project at your last meeting. We received feedback, what would be possible options to expand the community hall for seating capacity, and we were really looking at the banquet seating style. So as the council is aware, and the community center complex is going to be constructed based on available funding. Therefore, we're going to be phasing the project. And phase 1 includes building A, which is the Teen Innovation Center, the county library, meeting rooms, restrooms, a large courtyard, including amphitheater, and site improvements such as the parking lot, drive aisle, and landscaping. And then phase 2 will construct what we call building B, which is the community center with a community hall, fitness center, commercial kitchen, meeting rooms, and restrooms. So at your August 21st meeting, as mentioned, City Council asked staff to provide options to increase the capacity of the community hall beyond the 200-person capacity for banquet style seating. And with that, I'm going to turn it over. Well, I'd be remiss if I didn't say we have the design build team, auto construction, and then we have the WRNS studio architects, and we have John Baker of Swinnerton watching the meeting on Zoom. So with that, Mitch is going to step us through the slide deck that is in your packet.
Good evening. Should we face this way or this way? It's like we got an even split.
Face the council.
Either works, and we actually have a screen right here in front of us too, so.
Oh, okay. Sorry, there's gonna be a,
That's TV.
oh, okay. Gotcha.
Oh.
Okay. So yeah, we had some homework assignments to do some fitment plans to test the capacity of the community center, the community room itself. So let's go ahead and let's go through them.
And while they're bringing that up, do appreciate you guys being here in person this evening. Thank you very
Thank you.
much.
It's an honor to be speaking with you. Appreciate that. Wouldn't be a day without one AV problem. Okay. Next slide. Okay. So this is our existing current plan as it currently stands. Right now, the community hall can fit 200 seats. That's right now speculating on just one possible scenario. We thought, what would happen if there's a wedding in there or some type of banquet? This is 20 tables of 10 seats at each table for 200 seats. This includes a built-in stage and back of house area. So now we are also tasked to say, what would happen if we put rectangular tables in there, not round tables, to see, would that offer any more efficiency? Could we fit any more people in that room if we went with rectangular tables? Next slide. This is what that study shows. So the existing condition is on the far left. There's your 200 seats. We did test two different scenarios with rectangular tables. Both of those scenarios yielded about 180 people. So our conclusion is you can get more people in this room if you go with round tables. Are there any questions about that in particular? Okay. So we're just checking that box. So most efficient round tables, all good to go. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, this says, what happens if you get rid of the permanent stage and you have the most hyper flexible space possible, keeping the space the same size? This says we can now get 280 seats. Again, that's without any type of stage. However, we know that you're going to conduct a lot of events where you're going to want a stage brought in. So next slide, please. There you go. We think that you'd lose about 30 seats, 3 tables, if you bring in a portable stage. This is just one potential scenario. Again, we can size that stage however you want. We can have conversations about that. This is us just doing a test fit. So one space, 250 seats, portable stage. Next slide. Okay, this now says, let's say that we do not build the fitness center now, but we repurpose that square footage back into the building. So we have a budget that we need to maintain, and that's based on a certain square footage. So we wanted to test how big can we make this community hall without adding $1 to the budget by keeping the square footage the same. So the fitness center was about 1,600 square feet. We said, what happens if you get rid of that and you move that square footage into the community hall to make that a bigger space? If we stick with the round tables, we've determined that's the most efficient way of doing it. We believe without a permanent stage, you can get about 350 seats into that room. Again, that's with fitness not built on this site. This would have an impact on the footprint of the building. We can talk about that in a second. This is just purely a capacity analysis. Now, next slide, please. This says, well, you may want to bring in a stage. Again, a portable stage, not a permanent stage. As we talked about earlier, you'd lose about 30 seats, 3 tables of 10. So if you bring in a portable stage, you could still fit about 320 people in a banquet style setting. Next, this says maybe you do want a permanent stage. If you bring the permanent stage in, you would now yield about 280 seats. Next slide. There you go. There's our study. So we're primarily here to hear from you if should fitness stay, should fitness go? If fitness goes and we maximize the size of the community hall, you now know how many seats that you can fit.
Thanks, Mitch.
Any questions? Shall I stay, go?
Why don't you stay for a minute?
All right.
We'll see what, so a couple, just as I close, just want to mention, the auto construction WRS staff came down today because we had a user group meeting and we met with, 5 interested residents and users, including Ben of Luigi's, to talk about the commercial kitchen and also the community hall. So with that, that does conclude our presentation and we're ready for questions and feedback and then of course, ultimately direction. Thank you.
Sure. You'll start with a couple of questions before we go to public. Councilmember Worthing.
Full disclosure, I used to be a party planner, so that's why I know the
Oh,
difference
sure.
between, so I just wanted to tell you that.
Gotcha.
Was your analysis based on 72-inch round tables or 60-inch round tables?
Good question. Louisa, do we know?
Probably the 72 inch.
Good question. We might have to get back to you on that one.
That's okay, no, because people have done it with 10 chairs around a 60-inch table. I know it's tight, but it can be done if you, I know it's a silly question, but I thought.
No, it's not silly. I'm sorry. We can get you the answer. probably
Okay,
within the
great.
time that we're here.
Thank you. That
Sure.
was one of my questions.
Any other questions before we go to public? No?
Thank you.
All right. Yeah, thank you very much. And with that, we'll go ahead and open to public comment and invite the public to comment on this item.
Rosa Rodriguez, 307 Ayrshire Way, dear council members and members of the public. I'm just really happy that we're finally moving forward to sticking to a timeline and a timeline after so many years, since before 2007. And personally, as I mentioned in the previous committee, I would really be interested in a permanent stage. I know that may be cut back on a little bit of maybe table capacity or how many people are in there. But I think, having to pay somebody the manpower to put up a temporary stage and put it on and put it off and put it on, put it off. I would rather have a permanent stage, something that's fixed and make sure it's secure and safe. And I'm not saying that the portable ones aren't, but I would rather see a permanent one like St. Theaters. And the capacity, like was mentioned before, maybe building something in the back. We have a patio and it's still covered and it's still open, and my husband added windows to it, so it's still, semi, you could see outside and not be affected by the wind and so forth. And Labor Day, we just had a barbecue out there. We ate there and, no wind, it was nice. So some people can sit inside, some people can sit on the outside, and that would take care of your capacity issue. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Roman Barber, 123 Second Street. Just wondered, the fitness center. I would love the fitness center. I mean, hall, making it bigger. I'm sure it's nice, right? Everybody needs it. It's more room. You got the church, it's, what, 200 people, American Legion, maybe 200 people. But the fitness center, I know a lot of people want that fitness center. We don't have one in Gonzales for years. I mean, I ride bike all the time. You guys see me riding bike, but I would love to get back to lifting weights and stuff. You got the weights at home, but it's not the same, And I just wondered about those tables. That was a good question about the tables. Just wondering about the stage. Is that going to be a stage that slides up against the wall? Or is it going to be one that slides in underneath the wall? Just wondering about the stage. Everybody's been waiting for years for this center, right? So we got to get it right. And to make something cookie cutter, like we want a nice design on the outside too. We don't want one of these square boxes like our shopping center is. It's a square box. You have solid that's, when they built, they make some nice designs. So nice designs would be nice. But to cutting back the fitness center, I'm totally against that. But I also like the bigger. I wish somebody would come in with another donation and find out how much more it's going to cost to build it a little bigger. If it's going to cost another $1 million, or is it going to cost another $2 million to make it larger? And maybe somebody will come in with a donation. You never know. So if you put it out there and find out exactly how much it's going to cost you, you might find somebody who might step up and pay that difference of the money. So, and maybe the community might step up and start pulling their wallets out. Thank you.
And seeing no one else in chambers, any members on Zoom?
No comment.
Thank you. Any comments via email?
No comments via email.
Great, thank you. And we'll bring it back to the council for further discussion and action. I know we received the reports tonight, so what are our thoughts here? What's with the stage in, stage out, fitness center in, fitness center out? And I believe the mayor had. Oh, I'm sorry.
Can I please?
Yeah, we were just closing up. Go, please do. No.
Emily Rios, 231 Third. I'm just here to thank everybody for having me so involved in this process, inviting me to all the different meetings that we've had. Just letting me be involved in it has been really special. I just wanted to talk to the council and urge them to, in moving forward with the community center space, the multi-purpose space, just really urge you to consider whatever decision moving forward that we try to make this space accommodate a larger size of people than it currently does. We have placed halls in this community that accommodate 200 about 200-300 people in a banquet seating. I thought the whole point of having this community center so we can have a bigger, something that we don't already have, especially with the, looking to the horizons of our city is going to be expanding, building new homes, new schools, things like that. And this is probably going to be what we have for a long time. So also I put a lot of my input into when we had our meeting discussing when we do have events, when I was a choir teacher, seeing the band performances as well as like when we did the community theater stuff, we were shoving 120 people in that small room. That was the audience seating that, just sitting in rows, which probably was way too many, not including the 60+ performers that were in and out of on the stage. And that's in the Gonzalez choir room. So just thinking, keeping that kind of number in mind, 200 and something in a banquet seating just seems a little bit, small, in my opinion. I understand we have some difficulties. We still have a little gap in funding. I know we can get there, but I think that we have to really look to the future and what we see that space capable of, and we see our community. I'm half Mexican. I'm married Mexican. We are strong people. We are big families. If we already have the capability of having these types of parties and events of 200 some odd people in this community, I think that people who want bigger functions of quinceañeras, weddings, things like that, they look to vineyards and bigger venues outside of our town to do those things. But it would be really nice to have a bigger space, have it right here in our town. And that money, for whatever money is coming back to the city for the fees, would be coming back to us. So anyways, that's just my 2 cents. And thank you so much for everything that you've been doing with this whole process. I'm really excited with how it's moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. I think the mayor had comments. Or did you have those, Carmen? Or no. I know the mayor couldn't be here tonight, but
Yeah, we did meet with Mayor Rios earlier in the week, and he did share that he would be okay with taking out the permanent stage and having a portable one be brought in order to accommodate a bigger capacity.
Sure. Thank you. And maybe some clarifying for our guest. So the question did come up about the portable stage and how, what is it? Is it collapsible and so forth? And if that's something maybe you can elaborate on the portable stage, how the portable stage works?
How would that work?
We haven't quite scrutinized that yet. I would imagine be prefabricated in several different sections and then just brought in. Yeah, I don't think it would be, I got your note about a Murphy bed. Murphy beds aren't very big. I'd be concerned that the stage would need to be a size such that probably wouldn't be quite feasible. But again, I would imagine be manufactured in several sections and then brought in and assembled, then disassembled and brought out.
Mm-hmm. And in the layout, we showed there's a middle section, I guess, a permanent structure, if you will, is the thought that the stage would collapse into that section and then would expand back out, or going back to the visuals you had earlier.
In the permanent stage scenario?
No, for the portable stage, or the portable stage completely leaves the room.
That's right. That way
Okay.
you've got the option of ultimate flexibility for that room. So you can
Sure.
take the portable stage completely out of the space.
Yeah.
and then use it for whatever you want, then bring it in when you want it.
Okay.
That's the idea.
All right, very good.
What's the square footage of the proposed stage?
10 feet by something. So about 100 square feet.
Okay. 7.
In my college days, I worked at a banquet house and we set these things up and took them down all the time.
Sure.
So basically kind of as a butterfly fold where it's in the closet like this, it's a unit of stage, and you can open it like that and the little things come out. So it's on wheels, you roll them around, you can assemble 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 together to get the square footage you need for your event. And then when you're done, and then you just roll it into a closet.
Yeah. Okay. And to thank you. And so back to our options. So we're talking about on the low end was 200 seats, right? 200 seats with a stage in the existing building with a fitness center. And on the high end is 350 seats without a stage and no fitness center, right? So we're trying to determine what's the appropriate one.
I hear everyone wanting more people to be able to, for us to be able to accommodate more people in the community center. Are we talking, I know Maria and Liz, last time we had the meeting, talked about up to 500, I think at some point. Yeah, and I know it was thrown out there, but I think we need to kind of reel it in a little bit. I think 500 is way too many people. Are we looking at 3? I guess that's my question to
Yeah.
everybody here. Are we looking at 300 people? Are we looking at 350 people? That definitely will determine what you need to do for us.
It will. Yeah, right
So-
now for us, sorry.
So I know that at the church hall and, you know, Liz, we've had, you know, when we had Lenten dinners there, when we'd have our reverse draw dinners years ago, when it was a sit down, it was full. When we have, quinceañeras or weddings or events of that sort, they now use the patio area to serve the food because it's to accommodate more people. So if we compare the number of people that use the church hall, this will be much smaller, I think, than what we already have. And the whole idea for building a community hall is to really be able to accommodate more folks. And of course, the church hall has the stage, which is, you know, it's not a very big stage, but that's where the bands and the musicians set up.
But that's not the question I asked. The question I asked was, how many people would you like to see accommodated?
Well, at least
in our community
300,
center?
at least 300. I mean, 200 is,
No,
that's,
I
yeah.
I
at
agree,
least.
but I just want to clarify that so I know how everybody feels.
Councilmember Silva.
My turn. I'm in agreement with Mr. Barba. I don't think we need to remove the fitness center. The one thing that was not provided was what is the seating capacity of a auditorium setup if we had something on a stage? How many could we seat in there? I mean, I'm sure it's going to be more than what we can sit at a banquet because it would be auditorium style, right?
I thought it was 240.
Yeah. With the room currently sized as it is, if we had a permanent stage and you just had rows of seating, we thought you can get about 240 seats in there
Without a
with the permanent stage.
okay, you know,
Is that correct?
because I'm looking
Yes.
at,
Yeah.
I'm looking at the capacity without a permanent stage is 280
Without the stage.
banquet.
That's without the stage.
That's without a stage.
That's right.
So what is the capacity without a stage of the auditorium seating or whatever you call it? To see a performance? It would be more than 240. I would
Yeah,
say 260, 270.
About that, our assumption was that if you're non-auditorium style seating, you want some type of stage or front of house, so.
But that would be, that we could bring in a portable stage.
You could, yes.
Okay, so the portable stage being used instead of a permanent stage, I'm sure that the square footage would be less than a,
I would imagine around 260, somewhere around there.
okay,
270, yes.
because I too have gone to performances at the school in the choir room, as Emily put it. We're kind of crammed in there. You know, we want to support the kids and all that they do, and we go and we're very, you know, crammed in there because it's a choir room. It's not an auditorium. I would be more in favor of keeping the fitness center and doing the no permanent stage, but using a portable stage for this purpose. I think we could get the best bang for our buck and we could make everybody, it would satisfy more people than not.
So that layout, that was 250 seats and with tables, right? Round tables with the optional. So the the portable stage, right?
Right.
And the fitness center.
But there could be instances where there would be no stage required,
Mhm.
but they just need a lot of seating and that could seat up to 280 without a stage, without a permanent or without a portable. It could fit.
For the rows, right?
Right. That would be the most. And I think it would get close to the number that Maria's looking at and put your hand down. Public comment is done.
I just wish we could make it bigger, period.
I know, yeah.
It's unfortunate.
I mean, unless we all win the lotto this week, I don't think that's gonna be possible. So that's what that would be my preference.
Sure. Okay. Then I know we were working within, thank you. I know we were working within, obviously the specific budget, et cetera. If we, and I think last time we were talking about the question. So if we maintain the fitness center structure and the community hall expanded, I mean, what are we talking? Another, 3, 4, 5 million? Do we know that number? I know we're looking to stay within the current framework we're at, but do we know what that?
Sorry. So yeah, as Mitch says, it depends on the square footage. I think we're talking in that order of magnitude, just to say. So when we engaged the design build team, we authorized design phase 1 and phase 2. And what I'm gonna throw out is, and they are doing that. And what's the point? The point is that, we're gonna move through the design. We could modify that design, whatever, if it's a year from now, if it's 6 months from now, that we find additional funding to do this. I think another comment to make, and this came up at our user group meeting, is, and not that this, answers exactly what we're talking about, but tables could be set up outside. Not that that's going to work for all functions, but there is an ability to set up tables outside to increase the seating capacity for an event.
But I also have another question or comment.
Mhm.
Let's say hypothetically that we have a performance. We wouldn't be using tables. We would only be using chairs, correct? That's something else to think about. So we'd probably be able to get more people in
Yes.
at that point if we were having a performance. Yes, I mean,
Correct.
even more than 280, I think. I don't know. That's just another question or comment that.
Yeah, so tonight, in order to move forward, just for clarification, so we need to have, from a design build perspective, confirmation of which layout we're going with, right, and which shell, if you will. If hypothetically, if we move forward with the larger footprint of the community center or the community room, as an example, without the fitness, if we brought the fitness one back in later, within a reduced footage based on what's available, right? Do we know what that dollar amount would be, and to the point of acquiring future funding? So if we were to confirm the larger room footprint, and then with the to-do of going out and finding the funding for the additional, for the fitness center. Any thoughts, ideas there? Just
Do we have a dollar amount on the fitness, or we know it's 1,500 square feet?
that might have.
So 1.5 million.
Yeah. Oh, no, understood. Just asking the question. It was something.
Can you come to the mic?
Just when we're thinking about construction costs related only to the fitness center,
Sure.
we're thinking about it as a whole, as if we're building it all at one point. So if we were to do that at a later date, that is remobilizing all of our
Yep.
subs back in. So it's actually going to be more per square foot.
Right.
Because we're gonna have to do all the underground and everything else. It's not included in the grand scheme of what we're currently doing.
Right.
So 1,000 square foot.
Yeah.
It's gonna bump up a little bit more, just so everybody's on the same page.
Sure. No, I appreciate that. And Patrick, maybe the last thing for myself, and that's, so go back a little bit what you're saying. So we move forward, we keep the fitness center footprint, we go with the portable stage footprint, and 9 months from now, we acquire additional funding. Would we have the ability to be able to expand upon the building, or is it too late?
No, it's not too late, but it'll come at a cost.
Right.
Come at a cost to revise the design
Sure.
and all the efforts related to that.
Yep.
Yes, it can be done.
Right.
That was my question.
Yeah,
If it could be done at a later and what the cost would be.
general thought, general direction then is we like, so we like the fitness center. We want to keep the fitness center in and the non-portable stage. I'm sorry, the portable stage, the non-permanent stage. Yes. Sorry, I have an option. Yes. So the portable stage. That's our direction. Consensus from the council.
Yeah.
And
That's
Patrick,
a
maybe-
very
yeah, and then
low, yeah, I mean,
and maybe as
It's
a
just-
request, if we could determine what that dollar amount is, if we came back and added additional square footage, and we get it and appreciate it, that would be the adjustments to design work. But if we did come back 9 months from now, a year from now, with additional funding, what do we,
yeah.
how much do we need? Is it,
To put the fitness back in.
no, so we're we'll move forward with fitness, keep the
Okay,
fitness in.
Thank you.
Yep, and I guess existing shell as we saw it with the portable stage. So we move forward with that footprint.
So just for clarity, that's option one, portable stage that's on page 27 of the agenda packet.
I think that's correct.
Want to make sure.
Mhm.
It's really hard to scroll up on our pages that are.
I know I printed mine. There you go.
So we want, yeah,
Keep
we
going.
want option one, I think,
Keep going.
portable stage. Yeah, that's it.
Yep,
Nope.
that one, that
Nope.
one.
There you go. Perfect. That's the right one, right? That has the fitness center still. As part of this project, it has the portable stage.
Mhm.
Right.
I think the question though, Councilmember Funk, is you're referring to us looking at expanding the square footage at the community hall and coming back with a number for that too?
The community, I
I
think
would
that's,
like to see that.
yeah, I think that's the question. So if right now we have to stay within the funding we have. And so it's saying keep the funding we have and keep the fitness center where we have to keep that size of the community hall. If we were to come back later on, as noted, a year from now with some funding to expand the community hall as that is there, so obviously that'd be, I guess, going to the rear of the property, what would that cost us?
Mitch, maybe this is you, but it might be actually easier to do the other way around because of the timeline, or would that work, what he's asking? Do you understand what he's asking?
I think so. The question is, we design it as it is here,
Mhm.
but in the future, 9 months from now, you come back, you've got additional funding and you want to make the community hall bigger. Is that the question?
That's right.
So yeah, so there'll definitely be redesign costs associated with something like that. We need to talk about what's the problem we're trying to solve. Would you want to expand that from 250 to 400 or 500? Because there's gonna be impacts on the master planning of this site. Right now, you'd probably want to expand it east to west. There's gonna be structural impacts on that based on our structural system. So
Sure.
there's a trigger effect that kicks into place when we do that. Can we do it? Yes. We have this saying that the bulldozers are not idling yet.
Mhm.
So as long as we're in design, yes, you can.
Right.
There will be costs to do that, both construction, hard costs and soft costs on design.
Sure. And that completely makes sense. And I guess where I'm asking what is that number? Consensus is, and we've heard this in the past, we want to keep the fitness center. The fitness center needs to stay. And the community hall, obviously in the design, the example here, that's 250 seats and tables. So I think the thought there is if we go to just rows, right, that we're in that 270, 280 range.
Yep.
So which is a good, I think that's ample size for anything anyone's talked about for, a staged event, right? But going back to a community hall with seating 250 at tables for an event, is that enough? And I think that's probably more the question. And if we were to expand that, get over to 300, mark. You know, and I don't know how much more building that is, but if we were to get that to, 350, the 300 mark seated with the stage, with it, and the fitness center, what are we looking at?
I want to make sure I understand the problem. If you want to expand it from
Asking for everything.
250 here to 3 or 350?
Yeah, 300.
We would have to sit down and do a quick calculation.
Mhm.
I'd hesitate to say. I
For
don't
sure.
know. Can we get back to you on that one? I mean, there'd be.
Yeah, definitely. I think in general, I think we're good to move with this option, but I think it is a good question for us to understand. I'm sure it's some large dollars, but a validation, what is that? And
Yeah, if you just tell us again, the problem we're solving, which is come back to you after doing some analysis of expanding that from 250 to 350. We could speculate on what that would be both in terms of construction and fee, if that's what you're.
yes, and I think 300 and then maybe a 350 would be good. So if we could seat 300 with tables and then maybe also look at, that 350 range, but just so we know what that is.
I know, I'm trying to play devil's advocate here. I mean, I am. I'm trying to look at the money part of it, the delays. We've been talking about this for a long time and, every time we ask, and I'm on your side, guys. I want you to know that. It's just that, we're looking at the financial part of it. We're looking at the
Right, and it's
all of that, and then every time we go back, we have more delays and people have to wait longer, and
I'm not suggesting we stop and wait for that number. I'm suggesting we move forward with this number as we were talking a moment ago. As I was saying, what is that number? That number that has been asked a few times already by the community, including our last 2 meetings, and we do not have that answer. That's the question I'm looking to have answered. What is that number? If we got it all, what does that cost us?
Yeah. And quite honestly, I think, we should have had this number like in the very beginning when we were discussing a community hall and what would it look like in terms of capacity and, what are the current needs of folks who are looking for an event place to have their events, but we're here now and I agree. It's taken a long time for us to get here, so.
I think the other thing that the community also needs to be aware of is these costs do not include the cost of the furnishings.
Right.
So that'll be another expense that we will have to look at. I mean, I'm all for this. Y'all know I'm born and raised here in this community and I want to see this come to fruition. I want to do it right, but I don't think we need to go overboard right now. I think we just need to provide a good place to meet. And I think option 1 would meet that requirement right now. I think the other thing is if we do make any changes to that footprint, I think it will also impact the parking spaces. Is that correct?
You could.
Definitely.
All right. So I want everybody to understand, it's not that we're against certain things, but when you only have so much in your purse, you can only spend so much money. So just be aware of that. And again, if anybody wants to make any substantial donation towards this project, please feel free to contact our city manager.
I also have one other thing to interject to what Councilmember Silva said. Everyone needs to also think about the cost for maintaining this project. We haven't talked about that. We've talked about the plans and what we're going to do and all of that, but we also have to think about the cost of keeping this building going. And I don't think people have been thinking about that. So just something for everybody to think about. That's all. Thank you.
That's right. Yes, indeed. All right.
And equipment.
Okay, so
Okay.
I think we're good. Michael, we're good. So we have consensus, option 1. Okay. All right. And with that, we'll move to item number 7, introduce, waive reading and read by title only ordinance number 2023-140, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Gonzales annexing Title 11 building regulations of the Gonzales City Code by addition of new chapter 11.56, streamlining permitting process for electric vehicle charging stations. Staff report, please.
Great, thank you very much. I do not have a PowerPoint with this, as it's rather straightforward. This new chapter in our building code will bring us current with state laws that enables our building official to engage in a streamlined process for approving EV chargers facilities citywide. So all zoning districts and in all developments, and that would allow a kind of over the counter, but it's not over the counter. It's just expedited in-house staff review of EV chargers that could be proposed for single family homes all the way up to our largest employers. With the ordinance and state laws, a template that's a checklist of submittal items that a person would propose, you know, the rate of power, the equipment to support it, the amount of cabling, and they'd come in for an electrical permit and submit that. And so this will just bring us current with state laws. And if for some reason that the building official took issue with someone's plans being incomplete or needed changes, the applicants have a recourse to appeal that to the planning commission. So basically real easy, where we don't have to go to the planning commission and encumber the process for allowing EV charging stations to come citywide. And also this will be good for us to have this in place when we want to install our own chargers soon under some grant monies that we have coming. So yeah, with that, there's the checklist is attached to the resolution, is in the packet on a few pages, but I really have nothing more to present on and ready to take questions if you had them.
Any questions for staff? Councilmember Silva.
Will this also pertain to those who already have EV chargers in their home? Will there be a review of those people so that to make sure that everything meets code?
Oh, gosh, I hope they have an electrical permit if they've installed that in their home. But this is not necessarily retroactive. This is folks coming forward and getting expedited review. You know, if we don't know that something's been wired, we don't know until they bring it to our attention or there's a point of sale. And to see, you know, what's been permitted in that structure. Is there
Maybe a reminder to our residents that this is going to go into effect. But if they have already installed something, just to make sure that they're meeting our code, maybe we can remind them to maybe get in touch with you at City Hall.
Sure, maybe.
I mean, I know that people do have them in their homes already.
You know, maybe, yeah, there you go. Maybe through the city manager's letter or other outreach on the website to let folks know that there's going to be a streamlined process and that they might want to double check their own installations.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right, with that, we'll open public comment. Any member of the public wish to comment on this item?
Rosa Rodriguez, 307 Ayrshire Way. The only public comment that I have in regards to this is just to make sure that we, as a city, we hire somebody to update our website with all the city codes to make sure they're all current, because Murray, I can't remember her last name, Charlotte used to do a really good job as a consultant. And I know that the city is hurting us as regards to budget and so forth. But as we're adding all these different ordinances and codes, we need to make sure that what we already have is current, so that when as residents, we go in there, that it's current instead of having to call and make sure that, you know, that's still up to code. So thank you.
Thank you. And not seeing those in chambers, do we have any comments via Zoom?
No comments via Zoom.
Great, thank you. Any comments via email?
No comments via email.
Great, thank you. And with that, we'll bring it back to council for further discussion and action.
Yes, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, I move that we introduce waive reading and read by title only, the ordinance number 2023-140, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Gonzales, amending Title 11, Building Regulations of the Gonzales City Code by the addition of one chapter 11.56, streamline permitting process for electrical vehicle charging stations.
I'll second the motion.
Thank you. And we have a first, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any against or abstain? Hearing none, motion moves forward. All right. Item number 8, oral communications from council and no, youth commission tonight. Is the youth commission?
No,
commission
they,
tonight, or-
they couldn't be here tonight because we moved our meetings and threw off their
Sure,
schedule.
sure. That makes sense. All right. All right. With that, we'll and with that, we'll bring it back to the council. So actually, first item up is the appointment of voting delegate to the League of California Cities. And who, I don't,
That will be me.
just yourself attending?
Yes,
All right,
and Carmen.
awesome. So yes, so yeah, I don't see any issues. Councilmember Silva being our
Nope.
voting delegate.
You?
All right.
Just vote the right way.
That's right.
I will. Yes.
And do we need to have official vote on that or just direction that councilmembers?
I think,
So I think.
you have to make a motion.
Okay, sounds good. And can I get a motion to make Councilmember Roscoe
So moved.
Second.
a first and second, all in favor?
I.
Aye.
Okay. Unanimous there. All right, very good. And with that, we'll move on to our city council board and committee reports. Tamsi, and I know Mayor Mayor Rios sent over an update. And I was reading it briefly. I don't know, Carmen, do you? By chance, do you have that handy or hold on real quick here? Yeah, see, yeah, actually, I got it here. So for.
Go, if you want to skip to the next one, I can come back to the.
Sounds good. Actually, the first 2 are his, so we'll go to the third one, Salinas Valley Recycles.
That would be me. Just to let everybody know that our next meeting will be on Thursday, September 21st, here in our council chambers. It has been well attended, the last couple of months. I think I reported the last time that the Salinas Valley Recycles was going to have their employee recognition dinner on, I think it was August 18th. I had planned to attend, but due to a family emergency, I could not. But I hear it was really fun as usual at Crazy Horse Golf Course.
Great, thank you, Councilmember Silver. And actually, I'm sorry, I don't have my glasses, but I think I can make out the update from Tamsi. So the
I'm ready.
You want to give it? Go for it.
So Mr. Rios, Mayor Rios, reported that Tamsi was awarded, money from Tamsi was awarded to 3 different cities in the county. The total amount was 10 million plus 3.5 to King City. 2.5 million went to the city of Soledad and 1.5 went to the city of Salinas, and the rest went to the county. Mayor Select Committee. Oh, should I go on?
Yeah,
to
go
that
for it.
one? The Mayor Select Committee, we had Supervisor Alejo. His presentation was on the homeless situation in Monterey County. We have actually gone down by 16% in the homeless population. And by the same token, we have lost 1.5 million from the state and funding. Because of our homeless number has actually gone down. So he says it feels like we're being penalized for doing a good job, actually, which is unfortunate. And then the next subject was on the dams in Nacimiento. The past year had to be released quite a bit of water because it's at capacity. The total amount released was enough water to serve all 12 cities for a period of 5 years. And the state has determined that upgrades are needed to be done to the dam to the tune of 140 million. This money had been set aside for the tunnel to take water from Nacimiento into San Antonio. And then finally, he has something on the broadband as well, if you want me to take that one on too.
Sure.
Nothing to report on broadband as we have not met since the last meeting.
Thank you, Carmen. And the other item was Measure K, which we have a meeting. Actually, when is our next meeting? But we had a meeting, that's right, I'm sorry.
We just had an overview grants that we have last year for 2022, 23 grants.
And the applications for this year are currently open, and the deadline for that is closing. So submit, anybody interested should submit their application soon, as the committee will be reviewing the new applications for this year's round.
Awesome. And do we know if we already have applications submitted?
We do. Oh, we had, for these small grants, people are knocking on our doors before we even open the application. So
Beautiful.
we received applications the following day.
Awesome. Awesome. Great. Thank you. And with that, we'll move to oral communications from the council. Councilmember Worthy.
I have a question, and I don't know if I have to wait for Jose to come back. Regarding those TAMSI grants, is there any reason why Gonzalez didn't apply for any of those grants? Do you know? Do we have anybody from our staff that sits on that?
If I believe, I believe it's based on transportation projects. Only because I think that starts with AMBAG and the region.
Okay.
And I don't believe Gonzalez has any transportation on the on the 101
Okay.
corridor.
Just wondering, because it seems like we couldn't. Transportation, is that considered pedestrian stuff? But no, it's not.
I think it's,
I understand.
yeah, it's highways, I believe.
No. Okay, a couple of things I wanted to say. First of all, thank you to Patrick for working with me with MST, which I kind of want to get a follow-up on that from you because I have a meeting with them next week and I'm sure it's going to be brought up. But I wanted to thank you because I did look at some of these places that we talked about for the new bus stops that will be coming shortly. I also want to thank Tavin I have been contacting him about several different locations and he has been very diligent in working on that. And I really, really appreciate it. And I also wanted to say to our residents, because I've been receiving some phone calls and I've been seeing some things on social media. And I want to say that if you have a concern that you really want to take care of and you really want it addressed, you can file a formal complaint with the city. Or if you have an issue with the police department, you can also file a complaint with the police department and they can follow up on this. I think it's important for all of us. I think I said this last time, maybe 2 times before, and I'm going to continue to say it. We as residents of Gonzalez need to work together because there's a lot of things going on in our community and it's of concern, I think, to many of us. I think that if you see your neighbor doing something that you don't think is something that they should be doing, you need to say something. You don't have to put your name on the complaint. You can do this anonymously if you don't feel comfortable. But it doesn't serve any purpose of resolving some of these issues if we do not address them. And I know it's scary, and I know that a lot of people are concerned about retaliation, but you can be anonymous. I just think it's really important. We need to work together because things are not going to go away just because we hope that they're going to go away. I used to say that to my kids all the time. It's not going to go away if you ignore it. It's going to keep coming back. So please, everyone, let's work together and make it happen. Thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you. Councilmember Silva.
I wanted to follow up on something that she was saying. I mean, and it's true. If you see something, say something. Also realize that things cannot be remedied overnight. It takes time. It takes time to build a community center. It's not going to be built by the end of the week. So just allow enough time, reasonable time for things to happen. I too get phone calls. I think we need to, when we hear gossip around town, we need to ignore it sometimes, bring it to the attention of the people who might be able to look into things. But don't always listen to the gossip that you hear walking around town or because it's not all true. So that's it.
Thank you. Councilmember Roscoe.
Yes, thank you. Attended my first meeting with the Monterey County Housing Authority. And we have a new director. She's been on board for about 8 months now, but I did invite her to come to Gonzales to take a look at some of our projects that we do have here in Gonzales and see if there's a plan to maybe renovate some of these homes and perhaps maybe expand, additional housing units as a result of that. Very similar to what happened on Gavilan Court. I think that's the plan to eventually renovate and rehab and at the same time see if we can get more housing from them. So we'll set up a meeting with Carmen and Tavin in the near future to have her come and meet. I also had a meeting with the Red Cross. The Red Cross will be distributing new fire alarms to residents that live in apartments, the trailer camp on Belden, Alpine Camp, and also Corda Camp. And these are the new 10-year fire alarms that they'll be installing. Met with them along with members of our Pueblo Grupos Unidos group. They did receive a grant also to do CPR classes for training for students. So they'll be offering those and working with the school. So just wanted to mention to folks that they'll be doing some canvassing for the apartments to have residents, receive these new fire alarms. Fire smoke detectors, I'm sorry. Detectors, smoke detectors. Yes, thank you. That's it.
Thank you. And actually with that, I don't have anything additional tonight. And I continue, thank you to staff for all your efforts and keeping the city moving. So much appreciated. At that, we'll go to our business from city manager, Carmen.
Yes, thank you. I do want to report that actually we are going to be getting 2 CSUMB computer science interns that hopefully will be helping us with our website and social media design. I was very excited to see you. For those things, you kind of put the net out there and see if anybody bites. And I got an email Friday saying, I'm in it, I'm interested. And then I got another one. I said, yes, too. They are very limited hours. However, one is actually a Gonzales native. So that's very exciting because there might be potential opportunity there. So and look forward to that. And we are also staff is trialing another website. We're going through the process, so give us some time to play with it, see if we like it before we make the jump. Because as you would notice that when you jump from one website to a whole other one, you have to carry all your documents over. It's a process and it's quite a lengthy process. So we're seeing if it's a better site, this one that we're trialing. So hopefully it seems to be much more user friendly and more content friendly as well. So if it may be what we're looking for. So we'll bring more updates on that. And then just the other thing is staff is coordinating a trunk or treat on October 28th here in front of 4th Street. So more to come on that as information unfolds and the flyers are out, but put that on your calendar and make sure the kiddos come out on October 28th. Tavin, I think you had some steps to share.
Yeah, we are gearing up here and we're going to roll out. There we go. October 14th and 15th, we're going to have a citywide yard sale. And we'll be creating the sign up mechanisms and getting word out on how to do that. And we're hoping that folks can let go what they want to let go, maybe get a little change in their pockets, talk with their neighbors and visit, and hopefully leads to a little cleanup around the houses. And the following weekend is actually the Tri-Cities big cleanup. So it might be that if that hard thing you were trying to sell didn't sell, it might be that you can move it towards the proper facilities the next weekend. And so we'll make more information available, but that's just about a month and 10 days away. We'll do that here in October, which is generally just great weather.
So let's see, the only thing I've got is an update on the pool heater.
Mhm.
It is on the front burner, pun intended. And so we've re-engaged the pool designer, aquatic design group out of Encinitas, and they're gonna, we had a kickoff meeting with them about a week ago, and what are the 3, 4, or 5 available options, and I'll be coming to the council, I assume in probably late October to keep this moving along. That's it.
Mike, anything tonight? Thank you. Chief Weiss?
Just real quick, the police department will be hosting along with the SPCA again, a dog spay neuter vaccination microchip clinic, low cost, $35 for a package. Includes spay or neuter, microchip and rabies vaccine. It will be on September 30th. At the police department. It's by appointment only. They only have 15 slots available. So first come, first serve. If you're interested, call the PD, sign up for it. We'll do as many dog licenses as possible. So anyone that needs their dog's license through the city, stop by. We'll have a table set up to do that. We plan on having a couple of these throughout the year. This is the second one this year. Maybe able to squeeze one more in after this one. And then work on doing a few next year also. So that's all I have. Yeah.
This year you try to do something.
Yeah, after this one, we're gonna try to do one more.
I just got today my 9-week-old pup. So I want to do that. I'm waiting for it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so.
What's the date on that?
September 30th. I'm trying to find on my flyer.
Thank you.
The SPCA is doing it. They're bringing their mobile truck, van, yeah, surgery center.
Awesome. And we'll have that out on the social media or,
It's already there on the PD website.
okay,
Should feed into the city website as well.
great. Okay.
Just, just have one question for
Sure.
Tevin. Tevin, you mentioned it, the yard sale, the citywide yard sale. It would be nice to have a yard sale for those that live in apartments, perhaps maybe at the park later in the near future, to have a yard sale for those residents that live in apartments that don't have the space, but that would like to have a yard sale. So something to think about in the near future. I think we had one at one time in a park, didn't we? I seem to remember, but anyway, just a thought.
Yeah, I don't know why we wouldn't be able to include some kind of open pavement at an apartment complex. I don't believe anybody intended to be excluded. What we're gonna try to do is get a registry on the city's website and some information so you can even plan your travels and go here, there. And that there's real utility to it. And I'll put a special little look at apartment complexes too, council member Roscoe.
Great, thank you. All right, and I think that's in our updates. So that will move to closed session. Any member of the public may address the council on a closed session item appearing on the agenda. Speakers will have a limited 3 minutes. Please be brief and to the point. We have 2 items tonight. Items are the city council will recess to closed session pursuant to government code section 54956.9A to confer with its attorney regarding pending litigation which it has been initiating formally and to which the city is a party, Madera versus City Gonzalez. And then the other item is the city council will recess to closed session pursuant to government code section 54956.8 to confer with and give instruction to its real property negotiator concerning the lease of property located on the city's water tower located adjacent to the Fish Street and US Highway 101. Any member of the public wish to speak on these items? Any member of Zoom? Are you on Zoom?
No,
Okay. And any comments via email?
no comments being.
Great, thank you. And with that, we'll go ahead and move to closed session. We'll adjourn. Thank you.